Hey there, Team Impact. We're going to go ahead and get started and move on to inequalities. Today was Thursday, February 6th. So there's a video in there. There's a copy of the lesson. Returning the quizzes. We have a digital activity along with con and homework 6 tonight. So we have a busy day here in the math lab. Let's get rocking and rolling today. What is an inequality? All right. It's a math sentence. It's a math, and you know what, I'm going to change to red, sorry. It's a math sentence, all right, that compares expressions. All right, that's all it does. It compares expressions. All right, so a less than sign. We should be able to identify that that is less than. Now we have a new one here. It's called less than or equal to. So we're going to go ahead and make a less than sign, but then we're going to put a line under it. So that means less than or equal to is greater than. And then, of course, we have then is greater than or equal to. All right, so let's slide down here. Let's write some inequalities. I recommend reading these a couple of times and then just write what you read. It's kind of like writing the expression, and as we got into writing equations as well. A number is greater than or equal to 5, all right? And I'm going to use x as my variable, right? A number and 5. Well, a number is greater than or equal to, and that's where that line comes underneath. So 5 could work here, 6 could work here, 7, 8, and 9. You're going to notice that there's an infinite amount of numbers that will work for these inequalities. A number is less than negative 17. So here's my number. A number is less than negative 17. So here's my number, negative 18, negative 19, negative 20 works. Number 3. 40 is less than or equal to a number. Okay, so they want me to start with 40. 40, and my number is less than or equal to, is less than or equal to, okay? Number 4, 9 is greater than a number. 9 is greater than that number. 8, 7, 6, 5, negative 1, negative a million. 9 is going to be greater than that. Number 5, a number is fewer than 14. Here's my number. Here's 14. A number is fewer than, so it's going to be less than. Less than, okay? A number is at least negative 3. At least negative 3. So here's my number, and I'm going to use n, and here's negative 3. A number is at least negative 3. All right, well, it could be greater than negative 3, or equal to negative 3. So think about that. Negative 3 works, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 10, 20, 100, and so on. So there's multiple answers for that. Number 7. A number is no more than a half. No more. So here's my number, and here's a half. All right? It's no more than a half, so it could be equal to a half and less than. All right? So anything less than or equal to a half works for this inequality. Number 8. A number has a minimum value of 9 4/10. A minimum value. Okay. So here's my number. Here's 9.4. A minimum value. So it could be that number. So let's talk about that. It could be equal to. A minimum value. It can't be less than that. So it could be greater than or equal to 9 4/10. Okay. A game is designed for ages 13 and up. Okay, a game is designed for ages 13 and up. Here's X, here's 13. Could it be 13? Yes. Could it be greater than 13? Yes. So it's greater than or equal to. The theater can seat up to 500 people. Up to. So here's X. Here's 500. Up to 500, all right, is equal to 500, but cannot be 501. Could be 499, 498, and so on. Okay, so those are tricky as you write them. You have to read them and talk to yourself as you go through those. Okay, so now we're just going to substitute some values for the variable that they give us. Okay, so x is greater than negative. Is 20 greater than 16? And the answer is yes. Is negative 4 less than negative 13? Well, the answer is no. The answer is no, because negative 4 is bigger than negative. The bigger the negative, the smaller it is, right? So that is a no. 20 is less than or equal to 27. Is that true? Well, absolutely. It's less than 27, so it works. Number 12. 8 is less than or equal to 5. No. That is not less than or equal to 5. It's greater than. Negative 7. Negative 7 is greater than or equal to negative 10. Okay. All right, so negative 7. Negative 7 is greater than negative 10. Remember, the bigger the negative, the smaller it is. So that is a yes. Negative 1 is greater than 2. Well, that's no. Negative 1 isn't greater than 2. So looking through those. So you really have to be careful and talk to yourself as we're rolling through those things, okay? Okay, so let's flip it over, and I think we have a few more. All right, so let's continue. And you can pause the video and finish this up and check it. That's fine. Let's go. So 3.089 is less than or equal to 3.1. Is that true? Well, let's compare it. 3.301. So this is bigger than this, so that is less than that, so that does work. Yes. 3 89 thousandths is less than. 7 8/10 is greater than 5.25. Well, that's an easy one. That's yes. 7 and 5. 7/10, is that greater than or equal to 2/3? Okay. Well, this is kind of unique because we need to kind of change these to a decimal. So that's what I would recommend. So 7/10 is 0.7. 2/3 is 6/10, repeating. So 0.7 is greater than that, 0.6. So that does work, yes. So when you're comparing fractions like that, change them to a decimal. Okay? 1/4 is greater than 3/20. Okay? 3/20. Well, I'm not quite sure what 3/20 is, so I'm going to grab my calculator and figure that out, and I'll show you that here if I can get it to turn on. Okay, okay, so this one's not turning on. Let's try another one. These calculators are getting old here, right? There it goes. All right, so I know that 1/4 is 25 cents, or 0.25, but 3/20 I'm kind of unsure, so I'm going to change that to a decimal. And to change that to a decimal, I hit second N over D, and I get 0.15, and there it is. So is this greater than this? Absolutely. Let's go up to 18. Is 13.008 greater than 13.04? All right, well, let's work left to right. 1, 1. 330004. So the answer is no. This is actually greater than that. Don't get confused with the decimals. Is 60 3/10 greater than or equal to 60.295? So we have 60, all right, 0.3, 0.2, that is greater than, so this is a true inequality. Next up, 22. Is 1 4/9 less than 1 2/5? Okay. Well, I know 2/5 is 1.4. I just know 2/5. But 4/9 I'm kind of unsure, so let's check that one. So I know 1 4. So this is going to be 1 point, right? So let's just change 4/9, okay, to a decimal. And there it is. So it's 4/10 repeating, as you can see there. So this is 1 and 4/10 repeating. So is this less than this? No, this is 0.4444. This is 0.40. So the answer here is no, And I ran over to that one, so we'll just skip that one for now. Okay? Okay, so good stuff so far. We're into this thing. Everybody's watching the video today because I wanted to be consistent with my message. Let's take a peek down below here, okay? All right, so now what we have to do is we have to learn to graph these inequalities, okay? And the first thing is we're going to use an open circle for less than or greater than signs. That means the number is not included. But when it's a closed circle, all right, we're going to use it for less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So when you have the line underneath, we're going to close the circle. And let me demonstrate this for you underneath for these problems here, okay? K is less than 2. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just put 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2. K is less than 2. I'm going to circle 2. There's no line on it, so it's going to be an open circle, and it will work that way. This means that any number less than 2 works for this. 1 works, 0 works, -1, and there's an arrow there, so it goes on forever. Next one. P is less than or equal to a half. Okay? So, we could just do it the same way. 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. Here's a half. So a half is actually right in between there, and I'm going to circle that number. It has the equal sign, so I'm going to color it in. Okay? And the arrow tells us which way to draw the line right now. Okay? So this means that a half works, and anything less than a half will work. Number 29. Here's 0, 1, -1, -2, -3. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now, -3 is less than or equal to m. We have to be careful with this. Here's -3. There's a line under it. I'm going to color it in. Now, we have to be careful. All right, I told you up here, all right, the arrow tells us which way to draw it. Well, when the variable's first, the arrow will tell us. When the variable's second, all right, we're going to go kind of opposite of that. -3 is less than or equal to m. So here it is. -2, it's less than that. -1, it's less than that. So that's when it gets confusing when the variable's second. You have to think opposite. Okay? 31. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. 2/3. 2/3 is about right there. Now, I could have broke this down into thirds, but I just chose to do it with whole numbers and just kind of guesstimate, right? I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to leave it empty. Z is less than that, so I'm going to go that way with it. Okay, there's no line underneath, so it's an empty circle. It does not include that number. Okay, here we got to get up to 9. So, oh boy, let's just start with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You adjust your number line to the data that you have. Okay? So A is greater than 9 or equal to 9. I'm going to circle 9. It's equal to, I'm going to fill it in. A is greater than that, so I'm going to draw my line to the right because it's all the numbers including 9 that are greater. 5 is greater than X. 5 is greater than X, okay? So we also could write this, if you're confused, put X first. X is less than 5, all right? So you could do it that way, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. There's no line, I leave it empty. X is less than 5. If that confuses you, flip it around. 5 is greater than x. So they're both the same thing. And if you think back, we could have changed this one as well. M, all right, is less than or equal to -3. Okay? Oops. M is greater than and equal to. Okay? I rewrote the wrong problem. I didn't flip the sign. All right, let's go to 30. Y is greater than 1.7. Okay? So let's do it this way. Let's go 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2.0, 2.1. So I'm just adjusting my number line. So I'm going to go to 1 7/10. I'm going to circle it. There's no line to it. Y is greater than 1 7/10. I'm going to go to the right. 9/4. Oh boy. So you know what? Let's go ahead and change 9/4, and can we do that mentally? So 9/4 equals what? 2 1/4 is greater than or equal to x. Now, I don't like x second, so I'm going to switch this. X is what? Less than or equal to 2 1/4. So this is equal to this, which is equal to that. That was a mistake. Okay? So let's put it down here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2. Sometimes I get a little bit more precise. Other times I just leave it as whole numbers, right? So I'm going to go to 2 1/4 and make a line. Okay? I'm going to circle the line, the interval, and fill it in because there's a line under it. X is less than or equal to 2 1/4, and it goes that way. Okay? So there's a lot of different ways to look at these things, all right? I like changing them up and getting my variable second because that tells me, the arrow tells me which way the line's going to go. If you flip the page, you have homework tonight, okay? This is homework 6. You have 6, you have this, and you have a digital activity, all right? Let's get started, folks. Have a good day.